Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and with us hitting like over 15,000 subscribers, all this craziness going on lately, I thought I would celebrate with a series of two videos that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I just thought they'd be a lot of fun to look back through the history of Hearthstone a little bit, like we like to do on the channel, and go through every single expansion in Hearthstone history and give my takes on my favorite cards, or my favorite card, singular card, from each expansion and adventure, as well as my least favorite, my most hated card from each expansion adventure. So this video will cover my favorite cards, and the next video that'll come out tomorrow will cover my most hated. So if you haven't subbed yet, and I think there's like 30 or 70% of my viewers actually aren't subscribed yet, which is insane with the massive amount of people that have subbed lately. If you feel like I've earned your subscription, you've been enjoying the content, please hit that sub button. Let's maybe try and go for like 20,000 in the next month or two. That would be insane, but let's get going. Let's take a look at my favorite card from every expansion in Hearthstone history. So, we're going to start off with the classic set. The classic, it's not really the expansion, but we're going to go with the classic set. And I'm going to go with the cards that are currently in it, not the Hall of Fame cards. So, my favorite card right now is Gadgets and Auctioneer. I have played this in so many decks. It's a 6-mana 4/4, and you draw a card for every spell you've cast. It's just, I love like Miracle Rogue. I played like Nomi Priest. I played it in like Hakar Druid. I have played Auctioneer in so many different decks. It's just a ton of fun to play 0-mana cards, cycle through deck, do ridiculous stuff, and it's just one of my favorite all-time cards, and I'm surprised it hasn't been Hall of Famed yet. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, I'm going to go with my favorite card that's been Hall of Famed, like the Hall of Fame set. Let's go with that. And for me, that's going to be Cold Light Oracle, with like honorable mentions to like Sylvanas and Ragnaros. For me, it's Cold Light. I'm a degenerate player at heart. I like to play mill stuff. I like to screw with my opponent, disrupt them, and playing like a Kingsbane Mill Rogue is one of my favorite decks of all time. It is beyond degenerate, it's beyond toxic, and it's well hated for good reason, but man, is it kind of, you know, satisfying to be that guy to just completely screw with your opponent, especially if they're like a greedy deck and you're milling all their good stuff. It's a real diabolical evil thing, but Cold Light enabled a lot of that, and it, you know, came with the downside of drawing like aggro decks cards. That was never really a good thing, so I thought it was balanced in that way. From Naxxramas, I'm going to go with Deathlord, 3-mana 2/8, taunt with a death rattle if it summons a random minion from your opponent's deck. I like that this card had like the upside of maybe you disrupt somebody, you pull out like a good piece, like you pull out an Azoth, a Reno, something big, or you're playing against like Evensham, you pull a 4-mana 7/7 and screw yourself. I just thought it was a really interesting, flavorful card, and hell, it even like went into like just combo priests because it had high health for a low cost, and you just Divine Spear, Inner Fire it. I just thought it was a really flexible, interesting card, and I just found it to be really cool, and I like the design of it. From Goblins versus Gnomes, I'm going to go with Melgannis, the turtle himself. He's a 9-mana 9/7 Warlock Legendary Demon. He gives your hero immune, and then he gives your other demons like +2/+2 or +3/+3. I think it's +2/+2. But yeah, it's just a really cool card. Super flavorful. Really awesome. Sucks that you rarely see him being paid 9 mana for. You usually get him through like a Void Caller. But I just think he's like one of the most rad, awesome cards with amazing voice line, amazing artwork, and just the fact that it's this giant demon that can do really cool stuff. I love the card. It's just one of my favorites. From Black Rock Mountain, no one's going to be surprised about this one if you know me well at all. It's Emperor Thorson, the 6-mana 5/5 neutral legendary that at the end of your turn makes every card in your hand cost 1 less. The ultimate combo enabler. You put him with Drakarian Chanter, then your Mark going for crazy OTKs all the time. I just think this card is one of the most cool cards ever because I'm like a combo. I love combo decks, and Emperor enabled so many different things, like Malagos. Like, it's literally just, I'm not going to go listing them all. Emperor's a really rad card. Still, it pops up every once in a while when that combo needs it, and I love the card. I love what it does, what it allows, what creativity it allows in the game. From the Grand Tournament, I'm going to go Justicar Trueheart, 6-mana 6/3 legendary, neutral legendary, basically upgrades your hero power, so Warrior, you get to Resident Sleeper and tank up. You have like, you know, a Paladin getting dudes was actually pretty good back in the day. This card doesn't see any play anymore, but it was the originator of the upgraded hero power and probably the most balanced version of it. It wasn't guaranteed to be, you know, at the start. You had to draw it, and then, you know, would you get enough value out of it? Who knows? But it's a really cool card, and TGT was pretty lackluster, so I got to go with something. League of Explorers, a lot of people are going to say like Reno Jackson or like Bran, but for me it's anything can happen. The Paladin spell that resummons 7 Murlocs that have died this game, whether it be friendly or enemy. I love playing anything Paladin, like the Control OTK version of Paladin, but it's also fit into like more aggressive archetypes, you know, like Cheat Out Prismatic Lens. It's just a really flavorful, awesome card that just allowed for really cool creativity and deck building, where they're putting like Fingit in there, Murloc War Leaders, Bluegills, all that kind of stuff. Old Murloc, I just thought it was a really rad card, one of my favorites, and I'm still glad it sees play today. For the Whisper of the Old Gods, it might surprise some people. It's another Paladin card that sees no play anymore, but I love it. It's really cool. It's Ragnaros Firelord. It's the 8-mana 8/8 legendary for Paladin. Instead of dealing 8 damage, it would heal a friendly character, random friendly character, for 8 health, and it would say Live Insect. And I have this guy Golden. It looks amazing. I put it in my Anything Paladin. It was beautiful there, and it's just one of my favorite cards. I'm sad it never sees play anymore. It's way too slow, but it's just one of the most flavorful and cool cards ever made, in my opinion. From Karazhan, kind of a weak adventure, but the Curator, a 7-mana 4/6 mech that draws draws like a Murloc, a dragon, and a beast, I believe. Fit really well into like Dragon Warrior. You drew out your dragons, put a couple of beasts like Fierce Monkey in there. That was pretty cool. Finley was like your 1 Murloc, but I just thought it was a really cool build-around card. It wasn't like overpowered. It was just like a taunt that helped you stay alive a little bit, but it would tutor out some win conditions, some value, and I just really liked it. And it saw a lot of play for a long time. Hell, it still pops up today every once in a while. Like Shutterwalk Shaman likes it because you can tutor out some of the stuff for that combo. So really cool card, and really underrated card throughout the history of Hearthstone. Next, from Mean Streets, we have Dirty Rat, the dirtiest of rats. Neutral 2-mana 2/6 Battle Cry. You summon a minion from your opponent's deck. Really good way of disrupting combos. Hell, it could be a decent anti-aggro card. If you hit that right little, like, you know, you hit Leroy and you kill it, or you just pull a token out and you got a 2/6 taunt to contest it. I wish this kind of card existed in Standard today. This kind of disruption, it can help a lot when there's like a greedy combo that, you know, only a Lucia can deal with right now in Standard. So like OTK Demon Hunter. I just really like Dirty Rat. It could be toxic, don't get me wrong, but the flavor is rad, and I like what it did. And overall, yeah, Dirty Rat's a pretty cool card. From Ungoro, I'm going to go with Sherazin Corpse Flower. It's a rogue legendary, I believe 4-mana 5/3. It basically would go dormant, and then when you would replay, I believe 3 cards, I would resummon it. So you could keep bringing Sherazin back, and it would go like Ooga Booga. It would go all like dancing, and it was just a really flavorful, awesome card. I liked it in my Miracle Rogue back in the day. I have like my Razor Petal Volley, my Lashes. I would constantly get Sherazin back. It was just really cool, really fun, really flavorful, and it was like one of the first ever dormant minions. It wasn't really dormant at the time, but now it basically qualifies that. So really awesome card. For Frozen Throne, they have the introduction of the Death Knights, and I am going to put a Death Knight as my favorite one, my favorite from the set, and that's Frostledge Jaina. She's never been nerfed, you know, like the other Jaina, and just, I love the control aspect. It's this really late game card. You got to summon water elementals with your hero power that gain lifesteal. All your elementals got lifesteal. It's just a really satisfying feeling to get Jaina online, lock out almost every deck in the game, and it just looks beautiful golden. I love this card golden. I just love me some Frostledge Jaina. Hell, I have a displate for it. I'll quickly grab it and show you. See, I love my Frostledge Jaina. I even have a displate of it, and I'm not even sponsored by Displate anymore. I love my Frostledge Jaina. From Kobolds and Catacombs, I'm going to go with Ixalan Fungal Lord. A lot of people probably don't even know what this card is, but it's a Druid legendary, 5-mana 2/4. Whenever you summon, play a minion, you summon a copy of it. And I love this in my Malagos Druid. I would play Malagos, I'd play Faceless, get 4 Malagoses with my Ixalan. It just created a lot of cool stuff. I thought it was a really fun combo card. And like I said, I love me some combos. I love me some Druid cards. And Ixalan was just really, really fun. From the Witchwood, I'm going to go with Azalina Soul Thief, the 7-mana 3/3 neutral legendary. Basically, copy your opponent's hand. And when I saw this, I'm like, this card's going to be bad. People are like, oh, it's going to be good in aggro. You know, you're out of cards and you Divine Favor with that. That was never the thing. This is really cool in decks like, you know, Togwaggle Azalina. Just the things that enable. Like, hell, you put in like Odd Warrior when you had no way of dealing with like your opponent's combo and you just would steal it. And I just thought it was really unique, interesting design, and it created a lot of mind games, and it was a really, really interesting card. From the Boomsday, I'm going to go with Ziliax. Everybody loves Ziliax, and for good reason. It's one of the most awesome design cards ever. 5-mana 3/2, Divine Shield, Lifesteal, Rush, Taunt, Mech, Magnetic, all that stuff. Just felt really, you know, really strong. It was very meta, but I never felt it was broken. Gave neutral healing to like every class. I liked it. I miss it. But yeah, And it also has one of the best voice lines ever. Just such a cool card. From Rostikid's Rumble, I'm going to go with Hakar the Soul Flare. It's a 10 mana 9/7 legendary, and when it would die, it would shuffle blood into each player's deck. And when that blood would be drawn, you would take 3 damage and shuffle in 2 more blood. So basically, everyone's gonna die to bloods, but it was a cool way of like disrupting like Mechathune combos. You could also just disrupt Highlander strategies with this, and there was this also the ability to like delete bloods with like a Lysiana, or you could like OTK someone where you kill off a car and they like double naturalize them and make them force them to draw the bloods and kill them. So it's a really interesting, unique card that did a lot of cool stuff. Wasn't overpowered in any way, but I just like the creativity it enabled. From Rise of Shadows, I'm going to go with Kalagos, the Mage Dragon. 10 mana 4/12 Dragon, you discover a spell, and your first spell cast each turn costs 0. Just felt like a really cool big bomb from Mage. Could create big value, you could cheat out like a Conjurer's Calling on it, you could power creation, just a really impactful dragon that did have a bit of RNG to it, but I always felt was reasonable. Unless it cost 1 with Luda's Pocket Galaxy, then it was a little bit broken. But I really like Kalagos, thought the flavor was sweet, and a really fun card. From Old Doom, I'm going to go with Siamat, 7 mana 6/6 elemental, and you got like to choose 2 of 4 options, whether it be Rush, Divine Shield, Wind Fury, or Taunt. And it was just a really cool, interesting, like versatile card. It had the elemental tag, so you could get like Lifesteal and Wild. You could cheat it out like Elemental Evocation. Rad card. Interesting design, but Uldum was kind of, at least for me, I couldn't find much of awesome cards to talk about. From Descent of Dragons, I'm going to go with the dragon, Deathwing Mad Aspect, the 8 mana 12/12 dragon for Warrior, and I love how this guy just swoops in. He basically will attack the battlefield until everything is dead, including himself, and it's just really awesome, amazing looking card, animation, and you could do some pretty cool stuff. Hell, it could just be an 8 mana 12/12 or just clear the board and have a big threat lying around. Just a really fun, interesting card, and yeah, I'm going to miss it when it rotates. From Galakrond's Awakening, I'm going to go with Risky Skipper. Yes, this card is too powerful. Yes, it's too good, but it's a real fun card to play with when you're doing your like Skip or Armor Smith, Battle Rage turns, just setting different things up. Barov made things a little bit different too. You could get like Taunt Lackeys on it. It created a lot of interesting, crazy turns. But yeah, I'm surprised this one hasn't been nerfed to this point, but I really do like the card, so I'm putting it on my list. From Ashes of Outland, I'm going to go with Moark Artificer. Shockingly enough, it's a 2 mana 2/4 epic, and it's neutral, and the things this card is enabled is crazy. Whether it's just doubling up on an AoE, like a breath, a dragon breath, or whatever you call it from Priest, or getting double healing in Warlock, or how OTKing your opponent OTK Demon Hunter. This card has just enabled so many different things that it just seemed like a pretty innocent card that has just done a lot of really interesting, cool stuff. From Skullomance, I gotta go with Rattle Gourd, the Warrior Legendary. His voice line is amazing. The value you can generate off of him, just this unkillable thing that just like, you're never getting through all those layers unless you're transforming it. Plus you can copy it and make more. Rattle Gourd is just one of the most awesome rad cards they've ever made, and I hope they make more giant late game cards like this. I just think it's a really, really cool legendary. And lastly, from Darkmoon Faire, I said I'm a degenerate earlier. I'm going to stick to the degenerate route. I'm going to go Ticketus, the Warlock legendary that mills 5 cards. I like it a lot more in Wild, where you put it in Arena Lock, and you brand and you burn like 10 cards. It's the most ridiculous thing that shouldn't exist. It's dumb, it's toxic, it's degenerate, and I love it, and I love me some Ticketus. I have a golden, and if it gets nerfed, I totally understand, even though it's not even that good. But man, I like me some toxic milling. So those are my picks from the favorite card from every expansion adventure in Hearthstone history. Let me know in the comments below what your favorites are, and make sure to tune in tomorrow where we'll cover our most hated cards from every expansion. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.